The Vanishing Hour. Detective Adventure Story, The Vanishing Hour. Part 1. The whisper in the rain fell like whispers from forgotten ghosts. London was a city of secrets, old ones, dark ones, and the kind that lingered just beneath the cobblestones. Elias Gray had stopped chasing secrets years ago. Once a decorated detective with the Metropolitan Police, he now walked the narrow line between truth and myth, running a tiny private office above a dusty bookstore in Bloomsbury. A man who'd seen too much, lost too much. At exactly 7:06 p.m. on a Thursday evening, she walked in. "Mr. Gray," she said. She wore a rain-soaked trench coat and clutched a leather folder like it contained a loaded weapon. Her eyes, dark and wide, searched the room as though expecting shadows to leap from the walls. "Yes," Elias said, rising from behind his cluttered desk. "You're here about Mara?" She flinched. "How do you know that?" He tapped the edge of the newspaper on his desk. Front page, missing journalist. "You've got her eyes. I'm her twin." Lila Wren motioned for her to sit. She hesitated before lowering herself into the worn leather chair across from him. "She called me 3 nights ago," Lila said. "I hadn't heard from her in weeks, and then this message." She pressed a button on her phone and played the voicemail. It was scratchy and broken by static, but the words were clear enough. "They found me. If anything happens, find the hourglass." "Everything's in the hourglass." Elias frowned. "The hourglass? She's not talking about a real one," Lila said. "It's a code name for a story she was working on. I tried to get more out of her, but she never answered again." "Did you go to the police?" "They think she's hiding, that she hit a dead end on one of her stories and wants to disappear. But I know Mara. She wouldn't vanish without telling me more." Elias leaned back, steepling his fingers. "What was she investigating?" Lila opened the folder and pulled out a series of printed emails and a map of London's underground. But something about the lines on the map was off. They didn't match the actual train routes. "These were the last things she sent me," Lila whispered. "I think they mean something." As she handed over a photograph. It was a subway tunnel wall, and someone had scratched a strange symbol into the grime. An eye surrounded by 4 curved lines, almost like a compass. Elias froze. He'd seen that symbol before. 10 years ago, in a case that had never been solved. The Black Hour murders. 7 people had vanished without a trace. All linked by one thing: each had drawn or referenced that same symbol before they disappeared. "Where was this taken?" he asked. "Old Street Station," Lila said. "But the lower level, the one that's been closed since 1983. Elias stood, and that's where we start. Old Street Station. Lower platform. They arrived after midnight. With the city still dripping from the evening rain, Elias used an old security badge he'd kept from his police days to get past the gate, and Lila followed nervously, clutching a small flashlight. The air below was heavy and stale, thick with mildew and something worse, like rusted secrets. "This way," Elias said, leading her down the crumbling staircase. The lower level had been sealed for decades, but vandals and explorers had found ways in. The tiles were cracked, graffiti covered the walls, and puddles reflected the flickering lights. They reached the far end of the platform where Mara had taken the photograph. The symbol was still there, but something had changed. Now beneath the eye, someone had etched a word: Rookstone. Elias narrowed his eyes. "That's not part of the tube." "No," Lila said, but Mara mentioned it once. In a letter she wrote last year, talking about a village she found in the Ricordza. A place that vanished from all maps after 1940. A ghost town. Exactly. Elias took a photo and backed away. "We need to get out of here. This isn't just an investigation, it's a breadcrumb trail. And where does it lead?" He glanced at her. "To whatever Mara found. And to whoever doesn't want her to be found." Gray's office, 1:23 a.m. The door creaked as Elias unlocked it. Inside, the office felt colder, like someone had opened a window to the past. He rummaged through his locked file cabinet and pulled out an old manila envelope. Inside were notes, photos, and a single blood-stained postcard. The Black Hour case, 2013 symbol, eye and compass. Found at 5 of 7 disappearance sites. Last message from victim number 4. They never sleep. Time is their gate. He hadn't looked at these notes in years. Too many ghosts. Lila leaned over. "What does it mean?" It means your sister may have stepped into the same shadows that took them. Rookstone Village. 2 days later, they drove north for hours, following half-forgotten paths and erased locations until the GPS gave up entirely. They reached the edge of a crumbling road flanked by dead trees. A crooked wooden sign marked the entrance. Rookstone, established 1802. Beware the clock that has no hands. What the hell does that mean? Lila asked. Elias didn't answer. He was already walking. The village was silent, abandoned, rotting, except it wasn't. In the center of the square stood a clock tower, ancient and rusted. The face of the clock was blank, no hands, no numbers, just a silver eye painted over the glass. The eye again, Lila whispered. They approached the base of the tower. Elias felt the stone, cool and smooth, and then he saw it. Another etching. Time is not lost, it's hidden. Lila looked around. Do you hear that? Elias paused. Yes, a soft ticking. But it wasn't coming from the tower. It was coming from below, an underground vault. Beneath the clock tower, they pried open a hatch hidden beneath the ivy-covered stones. A metal staircase spiraled into darkness, the air thick with dust and time. At the bottom, they found a room, circular, lined with bookshelves and maps. In the center stood a table, and on the table a real hourglass. Elias approached it slowly. It was filled with black sand, and next to it a journal. He opened it. Mara's handwriting. They're watching the Hourglass Society. It controlled time, not clocks, not seconds, but history itself. They erase people, events, cities. Rookstone was the test. London is the target. Elias turned to the next page. If I disappear, tell Elias to follow the black hour. The eye leads to the gate, and the gate leads to the truth. Suddenly, the ticking grew louder. A door slammed upstairs. Voices echoed. They weren't alone.